Hello everyone, this is Agnes. I'm coming to you on behalf of Synconia Community Development Organization. The purpose of this video is to orientate ourselves so that we will be able to do the coming exercise safely, go and come back the way we are, and it may be better. Synconia is going to embark on a 4-week project of delivering food to less fortunate families, including me. And so we thank you for signing up to be part of this project, and we are forever grateful for your contributions. The situation at hand in the whole world has called on each and every one of us to give not just our money, our food, but also our time. And so we are grateful. I'm doing the very thing that I'm going to talk about. Don't touch your face. Okay. So we are going to orientate ourselves, and the best thing that we could have done is to meet in person. But because of the situation, I am going to take the chunk of the time for us to do it this way. And then when we meet, we don't spend much time together, as the rules of the land says right now. So I have a PowerPoint here, and I'm going to go through the PowerPoint, the points that I have written, and I know most of you know more, so that we can open the links for us to discuss and see how best we can do this right. So let's start. So in my introduction, I have thanked you that you have signed up to be part of this project, and we are grateful for giving us your time to be able to go and meet the needs of some families in our community who may need a little bit add up, so that their cup of, or their basket of food will be full. And so we will get to see the other facilitators who are with me when we meet at the office to pack up the food and join the group. Either we're going to the north, the south, or the east. But the most important thing is we are together and we are doing this. So in my introduction, I have introduced something that we all know. The first thing that was my first cultural shock when I came to Canada about almost 15 years ago. And that was my personal space. I think those of you who have been with me longer, I have treated this topic twice when we used to be at the Mennonite Center. And that is, this is my bubble. It is a well-known Canadian mantra. And with the present pandemic, it has become very useful that when I came here, I stood in line at a bank, and a lady turned and looked at me and asked me, "Please, can you move back a little bit? This is my bubble." And I was like, "What is bubble?" I went home and I asked my employer. By then I was saying a live-in caregiver. So I asked her, "Heather, what is bubble?" And she looked at me and laughed. So that's well-known old-age Canadian mantra, something that every Canadian know, that this is my personal space. And sometimes they do their hands like this. And even when my children came here about 7 years ago, I told them, keep your hands to yourself, because the culture that I came from, we are right on each other's face. But I came to this culture, and that is what I saw. And isn't it so wonderful that although Canada has a lot of issues with this coronavirus, we are doing way better than other countries, because we understand keeping our space, because we enjoy our personal space. So this is the theory I want us to apply as we go out to deliver the food, either among ourselves or with the families that we are going to interact with. We have to keep our personal space. My next slide is talking about how we don't burst into other people's bubble, because like I said, in my culture, we are in each other's face, either in the house, in the family, at the marketplace. I spent about 7 months in Ghana this year. I went for Christmas, and when I planned to come, the pandemic started, and I thought, oh, I could wait and see, since Africa is not really bad like that. And then they locked up the airport, so I ended up spending almost 8 months in Ghana. But where I come from, we bump into each other. Those who understand Twi, I just want to say this: there's this joke that we say in our country, that impuni no day for your country. Go to Ghana and see. Your pim may be tishe. What it means is bumping on each other. Is it not present in this country? You go to Ghana, you will see that we even bump and others fall down. We get up and we take our basket and go. So that is basically how we are at each other's bubbles, and we even burst into it. And the pandemic is showing us that we have to do things different. Why do we have to do things different? Why do we have to allow people to be in their bubble or in their personal space? I have listed 3 points, and I'll be expecting more from you. And I said that it makes one comfortable when you have your own personal space. You know, for me, the reason why, and I'm sorry to say that, the reason why I like my personal space, because there are certain things I do when I am alone. That's when people are with me, I don't really feel comfortable. Not all the time anyway, but sometimes I just want to be alone. And it reduces the fear and intimidation, especially people with some vulnerability. When we are going very close to them, it makes them afraid. So these are the things that we have to keep in our mind when we are going out to serve. It also boosts people's confidence. Like when in my own place, you know, I do crazy things, and it's the way of just exercising that, okay, when I go out, this is how I'm going to do it. So like we use our personal space to also build our confidence. Okay, so my next slide is talking about making use of what we know during this exercise. And we all know that in Canada, we respect people's personal space. So the Alberta government has enacted some guidelines as to how we have to behave and relate when we are in the midst of people. And these guidelines they are just a list of them. I'm going to just go through them, and then we can elaborate on it when we move to the discussion. So my slide is saying protect yourself and others. One of the guidelines. Then the way we protect ourselves and others is washing our hands, wearing our facial covering, and the facial covering come in different forms. The object of the whole idea is that you have this part of your face covered. I should have brought a face mask anyway. So you cover your nose so that I don't touch my nose and my mouth. You cover your nose. So those of you who love making makeups, you still have to make your makeups if you do want to, but you still have to have all this part of your face covered, because it's the receptacle of most of the particles that can go into your lungs and cause this crazy pandemic that we are all dealing with. I'm also guilty, but the requirement is that we don't have to touch our face, especially our nose, our mouth, our eyes, our ears, and I do. So we have to be careful when we are in the midst of people. Once we interact with them, we have to be diligent in keeping our hands to ourselves and not to our faces. Then I am also guilty of removing my mask when I'm talking, but the requirement says that don't remove the mask when you are talking. Is that okay? Very good. So we have to find a way to keep our hands to ourselves and keep the mask in place whilst we are talking to people, because when we open our mouth to talk, that is when a lot of particles, I didn't know until I saw a video of how much particles that we spew out whilst we are talking. And then I'm also guilty for, I think I've talked about that. Then we say that we have to change our soiled mask. If the mask has already fallen down, or if it has been at places you don't trust, please change it. Okay, so in the process we are going to keep a lot of masks while we go from house to house, or in case you are handing the food to somebody and you don't feel comfortable, then when you come out from that place, just remove that mask and change it. Remain wearing the mask as long as you are among people. And this precaution is very important right now. Even those of you who will be going back to school, those of you who have started working, if your work requires that you wear mask, then don't wear mask to enter the job and then take it off and put it somewhere. But remain wearing it so long as you are in close proximity with other people. I told you we just came back from Ghana, so we had a chartered flight and it took us 11 hours from Ghana to Toronto, and they told us that we have to wear the mask. And you know, Miss Agnes don't always obey the rules, so I felt so uncomfortable in my own mask that sometimes I just put my head on the seat, take it off, and then and my daughter sat in the plane for 11 hours, slept at the Toronto airport for I don't know how many hours, and she never removed that mask. And I'm like, wow, Amma, how do you do it? But yeah, she was obeying the rules to the letter, and I'm so proud of her. So you have to remain in the mask so long as you are in the midst of people. Then protect yourself and others. Then the way you will do that continuously is remove and dispose of mask properly. Don't leave it on the roadside or on your kitchen counter for my daughter or buyer to come and take and put it on for her. She thinks it's cosmetics. Wash your hands before removing the mask. I think this one we are all guilty of it. I don't think all the time when I want to remove the mask, I go wash my hands. But if you have a hand sanitizer, you can put hand sanitizer on your hand, remove the mask, and then wash your hands if you have access to water and soap. And the most important thing, it says that wash your hands with soap and warm water. And then wash and reuse all masks that are in that state. If you have a fabric mask, I don't think it is just a single use. If you have, I have other type of masks that you can wash, especially those of you, and I'll say it again, those of you who are using makeups. Your makeup always soils your mask, and you never know what the makeup is having. Okay, so wash and dry. I used to iron my mask when I was in Ghana. So wash, dry, and before you reuse your mask. Interesting. I hope we are all doing well. Okay, I'm just almost through with the slide, and then we can go in the discussion. So we are going to be each other's keeper in this exercise. And the way we are going to do it is the coronavirus. It is my problem and your problem. And so everybody is a little bit tipping off. Yeah, they've kept us home. They told us we should quarantine and the disease will go away. We have quarantined and it's not yet going away. We can't go to vacation. We can't go do barbecue. So all these things are really filling our our heart with a lot of stress. So we have to be each other's keeper, and that is, if we work together, this pandemic one day will, even if it doesn't go away completely, and I'll talk about that the next time in our next session, how pandemic in previous years has been dealt with, then we'll be able to minimize the infection. Let us respect each other. Like I said, sitting in a bus, you don't know what I'm bringing from home. Maybe I am full of garbage and I'm looking for a place to dump it. So when we go around, don't feel that because we are going to deliver the food to them, those people should show us respect. But let us respect those people more, not knowing what they are dealing with at the moment, so that we go in and come out respectfully. We have to set a good example. So if you get to the place and the person is not wearing mask, keep your mask on. Okay, I am going to set a very good example. I will stay in my mask throughout as I am in the midst of you. And let us obey the laws of the authority. If we are going to a house and there's a sign that we cannot come or you cannot enter this premises, let us obey that. We may never know why that sign is there. And whilst we are delivering the food, let us show our compassion. We have a different way of showing compassion, and I think when we go into the discussion, we'll be able to come out with. And above all, we are going in to help. We are not going in to demand respect or for people to say thank you. I am one person who is guilty of this. When I give you something and you don't say thank you, I keep you in my head. But this time, don't go remind people that, oh, you didn't even say thank you. Okay? We, like I said, we never know what others are dealing with. Our main focus is to go and deliver food. If there's any other thing, like toilet paper towel, and anything that we can add to the food, we are just going to help those people so that they can have their 3 square meals during this pandemic, and that should be our focus. What other things that you can add to it is your compassion, your respect, your smile. Now they don't even see our smile because we cover our face, but do as much as you can to make this exercise pleasant for us and for those people that are going to benefit from this exercise. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person, and this time I will hand the mic over to Mr. Joseph, and then he will open up the discussion and we'll be good to go. Thank you for being part of this. This is Agnes.